Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawami greetings. To Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news. From a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun. Oh. Good morning, Marianas.
It is another edition of Good Morning Marianas here on the NMI News Service, but today, kind of more like the NMI Nerd Service. You're checking out my cool glasses. Hey, I like them. I definitely like them. I actually got these made about 3 years ago in New York, and they were purpose made. Like I got them special so they wouldn't reflect all the lights. I had no clue or no plan that I was going to end up getting into this kind of stuff. But I remember always wanting to wear my glasses again when I was doing the news over at KSPM. I wore them on one night. And when I did it, it was like there were reflections all over the place, just all the lights off the glasses and all that other stuff. So I had these made when I got them made. I said, hey, I want something that's not going to reflect all of the light every single time I end up doing something like this. And it ended up working. I'm looking at it now. I don't see any of those reflections kicking, so it works. Good morning, Marianas. Hey, it's Monday, and you know what that means? Oh, man, it means goodbye to the weekend. I missed that weekend already. It went by so fast, and it was just what I needed. Ended up with a great day hanging out with the neighbors next door, too. Well, I'll tell you, I think I was still a little wiped out from last week. Last week was a pretty busy day for us here at the old news service. And, man, I really, I even checked out early from the little get-together yesterday because I just needed to go and rack out. I mean, no kidding. It was a busy week last week. I'm getting all racked out, and I got to get another sip of this coffee. This is some great stuff, too. Enjoying this Ben Wood coffee mug. I got the guy who used to be the ceramics guy here in the CNMI. In fact, he used to be a teacher over at Saipan Southern High School. And he moved away. And then when he did, I saw that he was making all kinds of these mugs and all that stuff out in Oregon. I said, hey, let me buy some more of those from you. Get some of those Saipan mugs. And they're great. I absolutely love them. And they work out awesome for me here because I get to show off a little bit our cool mugs. All right, hey, we're going to get into the headlines and everything like that we had today. Man, what a weekend it was. But let's get into, like I said, some of the headlines. Now, because it is Monday, that means we're only going to get a one update from the Associated Press. So let's get that out of the way now before we get going. But again, it's not every hour today because it's Monday for us, but for those folks in the mainland, they only have one update on Sunday. So here we go. Here's the Associated Press.
AP News for this Sunday, July 7th. I'm Jackie Quinn. Tropical storm Barrels expected to sock much of the Texas Gulf Coast with heavy winds and rain up to 15 inches in some places, starting in the evening and overnight hours.
We are expecting Beryl to regain hurricane strength before it reaches the Texas coast.
National Hurricane Center Director Michael Brennan says landfall is forecast between Mesquite Bay and Galveston.
Hurricane force winds reach the coast overnight tonight, and then a widespread heavy rainfall event across much of eastern Texas developing over the next day or two.
Hurricane warnings are posted with tornadoes also possible. Storm surge is a big concern, up to 6 feet in places like Matagorda Bay. In Freeport, Texas, Mark Richardson's watching the surf churn up.
The flooding is a big issue if it stalls out and it hangs around, because even not stalling out, we're in an area where it's supposed to be like 8 to 10 inches of rain.
Some evacuations in coastal areas have been ordered. In Philadelphia,
President Biden is coming back. He's a comeback kid.
President Biden warmly welcomed by leaders of a predominantly black church as Biden fights to regain public confidence. He says there's more to be done to help the black community.
Help more black families build wealth and pass it on to future generations. To keep our community safe.
Second gentleman Doug Emhoff has tested positive for COVID-19. His wife, Vice President Kamala Harris, tested negative. She was at the New Orleans Essence Festival this weekend. In France, polling indicates that left-wing politicians are winning more seats than the far right, but no side appears to have a definitive hold. NATO leaders coming to Washington, D.C., President Biden hosting a summit starting Tuesday. This is AP News. A tribute to John Landau.
I'm Haya Panjwani with an entertainment update.
Titanic was called the Ship of Dreams.
John Landau, an Oscar-winning producer who worked closely with director James Cameron on the Titanic and the Avatar series, has died. He was 63. Landau's partnership with Cameron led to 3 Oscar nominations and a Best Picture win for 1997's Titanic. In a statement, Cameron says Landau, quote, will be remembered as much for his vast generosity of spirit as for the movies themselves. Jury selection begins this week for Alec Baldwin's trial for the shooting death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Baldwin was pointing a revolver at Hutchins in 2021 on the New Mexico set of the western Rust when it fired and killed her. The prosecution will argue that Baldwin, as a producer, allowed for a dangerous environment and that, as an actor, used the gun in a way that he never should have. I'm Haya Panjwani.
And I'm Jackie Quinn, AP News.
All right, that is our wrap-up of all the latest that's happening in the U.S. and all around the world with the Associated Press. We do that normally every hour. Today is Monday. Monday, we only get one of those. They only give one update for the weekend, for the day. So I could have given you Saturdays and then given you Sundays, but I don't want to give you dry news. It's not that good. Oh, man, what a weekend it was. I'll tell you what, one of the coolest things going into the weekend is seeing all of the promise from our youngest athletes out there. Benji Palacios, 18 years old, graduated from MHS, put on a baseball youth camp on Friday and Saturday. Benji Palacios, hats off to you. Well, I'm not wearing a hat, but you know what I mean. And he was out there with J.R. Sewell III. He was out there with Justin Camacho, and they were out there putting it together to make sure that... Oh, also, man, I can't remember his first name, but Ty Quinco. Geez, Louise, sorry about that. But young man Ty Quinco. Oh, my God, I can't believe off the top I can't remember his last name, or his first name. I don't think it was Jonathan. But anyway, there were those boys put together a youth camp, charged nothing to the students that went out there, to all the young kids from 9 to 11 years old over at Tonko Palacios Field. Again, 0 fee. And he even provided the water, and he got a little bit of help, not too much. The adults were the older masters, players, and all that stuff. They were not involved, but they were helping behind the scenes. So JP Sablan, representative for Precinct 2, he provided all the water for the camp. And then the Saipan Baseball League provided a dozen balls for it. All the other equipment, the extra backstop stuff, the bats, the baseballs, all that other stuff, all provided by Benji Palacios. He just has been playing baseball for a while. You build up a lot of stuff. And boy, did they have a great time out there. On the first day, there was only about 10 kids out there. But man, that second day, there was about 30 kids out there. And it's a good thing he had the reinforcements out there to help him out a little bit, because there were a lot of them. They worked on hitting, they worked on fielding, they worked, they threw, they caught, batting stance. Well, not sure what that was. The batting stance and just about everything out there. And it was super cool for me because I went out there and my daughter was in it, and she had a great time for it. So she, after the first day there were 3 girls there. Second day it was just her. But that did not faze her at all. After the first day, Dad, can I go tomorrow? Yeah, absolutely, you go tomorrow. Then after Fridays, you're like, hey, or after Saturdays, Dad, can I go next week? Absolutely, you're going to go next week. Go, yes, you can absolutely go. She had a great time, and really hats off. And there were some younger kids too. Now it's 9 to 11, but there were some kids who were at that T-ball age who went out there too. He welcomed them too. And then there were some kids who were T-ball, but they were just the really young kids. So they just got to watch as the oldest T-ball kids made the cut. But man, I'll tell you what, the future of baseball in Saipan looks pretty good. When you've got young men like that coaching children, that's awesome. I mean, that is just awesome. And even the community around it, like all the parents were there too. I mean, it wasn't a drop-off thing. It was, but all the parents were hanging out and chowing and enjoying the company of each other while watching the sport happen out there, that camp. So it was just great. And, I mean, you're already setting the groundwork for our next generation of coaches. This is only the second year of baseball being back in the Marianas, and we're already seeing that kind of improvement. It's just pretty awesome, guys. Hats off. Well done. And, everybody absolutely loved it. So, I mean, really, great job, guys. It was just about the coolest thing that I've seen out here. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is not taking away from your other sports, the other people doing it. No, it's not saying anything bad about you guys. Don't worry. But I'm telling you, it was inspiring. This was just one of the guys who decided to put this on his own. He didn't have that giant support structure like the NMIFA, right? Great organization. The guys who do all the soccer stuff. They put on great tournaments. There's all this stuff all the time. They got a great facility. You name it, they got it with all that, support structure. This kid did it on his own, calling a couple of his friends who are also baseball players to put on a camp for the kids. Heck yeah. I'll tell you what, we should, you should reach out to this kid and find out what you could do. Now, here's the thing, in case you're interested in doing it for your kids. The first couple days are already done, but this weekend it's going to start again, Friday and Saturday, the 12th and 13th, from 2:30 to 5 on Friday and 3:30 to 6 on Saturday. Again, it's from ages 9 to 11. Now, here's a little bit more information on it. Look on the side. So his name, Benji Palacios, and the number is 285-8084, 8084. Oh, man, you know what? I can read it, but it's not really that big. Let me see. I just want to make sure it's not 8094. Hold on. Yeah, 8084, 8084. So go ahead and give him a ring if you want to help out. He's also got his email on there, so you can reach out and help him out too, because, again, he's doing it on his own. I mean, if you're interested in helping out, his email is Palacios Benjamin, it's Benjamin, 670 at gmail.com. Palacios Benjamin, 670 at gmail.com. So, I mean, he's got it handled with coaching and everything like that, but maybe you want to hook him up with some water. I know JP Sablon, again, the representative from Precinct 2, he's already helping him out with that. Probably getting him some ice. Also, I bet kid could use some baseballs to do that camp. He already got a dozen from Saipan Baseball League. And, man, I'll tell you, those baseballs are not cheap. I mean, just some practice balls would be great. And they definitely be appreciative for having it. But that's it. If you want to support a guy who's supporting a whole bunch of kids out there, that's the one you want to talk to. So hats off to you. Well done, Benji Palacios, for putting together that tournament. We got an interview that we had with him, too, that we'll show you guys. It was really great. I absolutely loved it. The inspiration that I say kid. I mean, is that fair? No, he's a young man. He's 18 years old. But that he put it together on his own, not at the direction like, hey, you need to do this. You have to give back to the community. No, he did it on his own. It's just a great thing to see. And that's the kind of thing you want to support. So, you want to send your kids out there to learn from a kid that's got a real good foundation. That's where to go. That's role model level right there where you see those guys. So bring them out there. Have some fun. And again, it's not limited to boys. You got some girls who are playing, bring them out there too. Again, it's from ages 9 to 11. The kids this summer, 670-285-8084. That's this Friday and this Saturday at Tonko Palacios Field from 2:30 to 5 on Friday and 3:30 to 6 on Saturday. I love it. I couldn't be happier to see that kid do well. It's really good stuff. Well, I just want to see the progress on my little project over here. Let's see. Oh, I spelled it wrong. How about that? 1 second. There we go. Yay, got up a little bit higher. They're starting to get up there a little bit. That's the Highlands Lawn Care. They came out to the house and gave me a estimate. And he's like, man, I don't know. There's all kinds of wildlife out there. That grass is too tall. We're going to find out. I'm going to have to get some safety equipment, maybe called DPS, see if I can get some of the animal wranglers from the old Saipan Zoo to help me out, just to keep me safe, to go out there and get that grass. Well, they'll be coming by. I'll be able to tell you how they end up doing. But you can give them a like on there, a like and a follow on their Facebook page that just got started. And it's going to have before and after. You already heard about this Jurassic Park lawn that I've got going on right now. Well, you're going to be able to see the before, I know, and the after. It's going to look great. I know it. Highlands Lawn Care. You can give them a like and a follow right now, and that way you'll be able to see those before and after photos. When they go to town on my lawn on Wednesday, they're going to do the grass, they're going to do the bushes, do a little tree trimming. They got a little bit of everything going on. And really nice guy in TJ. So check it out. Give them a little like, give them a little love, and you'll be able to see what they're all about. Nice local company supporting a local company. Love it. Now, there's some things going on out here. I didn't tell you about the weather. You could just go outside and experience it for yourself, but the weather outside is right now. We're at 85 degrees up the airport. The humidity is 75% humidity, should say. East winds, 14 miles per hour, looking at a high near 88 today. Isolated showers throughout the day, but mostly sunny skies. Should be a real nice one. Tonight, going to drop down to about 79 degrees, and that breeze is going to keep on going. Isolated showers again. And it's going to be like that pretty much all week, but it looks like it's potentially going to pick up somewhere around Wednesday night and Thursday, as we're looking at some scattered showers and a 30% chance of rain. That's a few days out, but that's always how it ends up working. We end up getting a little bit crazier weather as the week moves on. Now, speaking of moving on, we have a pretty cool dude out here. Nobody calls him a pretty cool dude. I met him. He's a cool dude. But also, he is the bishop. Well, he's not the bishop anymore. I met him as Father Ryan, and now Bishop Ryan. Well, he is moving on up in the world, because now he is going to be moving to the bigger island of Guam, and he is going to be moving on up as the hold on, what's his new title? He's going to be the running the Archdiocese of Guam. That's wild. Yeah, he's moving on up. So apparently, I got the press release for it. And how about that he's moving up? I mean, one of the coolest things about it is that he was the priest who married us before he ended up moving up to bishop, which is pretty cool, because he's a friend of Kathy's family ever since before he became a priest, as he was like a priest in training, making his way up there. Well, anyway, it's the Pope who appointed the bishop as the new archbishop for the Archdiocese of Agana. The Pope. Yeah, that's pretty big. No kidding. The Pope himself named him. So now we're going to lose our bishop. That means we're going to need a new bishop, I think, too. And I don't know who they're going to name in as the replacement. I don't know if they actually mentioned him in the old in the press release here. I'm looking through it real quick. Oh, here's basically his resume. There's more parts of his resume and how he moved up through the ranks over here in the CNMI. and everything, which is great. Question is, who's going to be our new pope, or our new pope? Well, easy there. I don't mean pope. I meant to say who's going to be our new bishop. And it would be cool if there was like a vote for your favorite bishop or your favorite priest to see who's going to be your next pope. Why do I keep saying pope? I got pope on the brain. It's true. I mean, like I got pope on the brain. I don't know if that's an actual condition that you can get, but it seems like it because I keep saying pope instead of bishop. There we go. Just downloaded that officially. But I'm curious to find out who our next bishop's going to be. Oh yeah, Luisa is out there. Sorry, I'm just seeing you guys in the comments now. Let me get back to that. Oh yes, we will, and I'll answer that in a second. Oh, I love all that. I'll get to that in a sec. But like, who's your favorite priest? Like, maybe we need to have like the. It almost becomes like a popularity contest. Maybe they call it a popularity contest. Wait, do I have one of those things? About no, I don't. But no, that's not the right one. It's this one? No, it's not that one. All right, maybe a popularity contest. There we go. See, I need to have that ready to go every time. Tobot says Polyrageous. Ricky says Polybong. Love to hear the more. Who is your favorite priest here in Saipan? I have my favorites. I definitely do. I mean, I loved Poly Ike. I always felt like really close with him. He's from Rhoda. He was just the guy who I really liked out here. Doesn't mean sorry. I'm talking about priests, not bishops or arch. Okay, don't get mad at me there, your reverence. I'm talking about just priest level stuff now. Yes, but I was going to get to. Arlene says Poly Sid, and Tobot's like Poly Ray. So like Poly Ray, he has the deepest voice, and he's got the coolest voice, you know. He's talking about the Jesus Christ. I love Poly Ray's voice. And I used to go to church with him over at San Vicente. Then I know he went over to Tinian. I don't know if he's still in Tinian right now, but I know he was in Tinian for a while. And oh, yes, Arlene. Yes, Polly James and Polly Eric. Polly James. Oh. I love going to Polly James, Balahaj's masses over when we were going over at St. Jude. Loved going to Polly James. Yep, he's got a great mass. His homilies are awesome, and not that we're gonna get into full church chat today, but I mean that's the Polly. Like he's great, and I'm like he's wearing Air Force Ones in church, not little planes. I'm talking about the Nike shoes. I'm like, he's comfortable. He's comfortable in his own shoes. I see him at the gym. Guaranteed, my Polly can outbench your Polly. You know, and I like his jokes. I like the way he structures his homily, and that to me is the cool part of church. It used to not be for me. I used to just go to church because I had to go to church. I used to just go to church because it was, I had to go with the family. And then, you go through the thing. I'm like, all right, I got the whole process. You go in, they do some readings. There's some standing and some sitting. Then we get into kneeling. You got our Father. I knew you get the gospel, and then you get the homily. And the homily, once in a while there'd be some jokes in there, but if I got late and I couldn't make my regular mass and I had to go to another church just to make sure I went to church, I would have to catch whatever mass was available. Sometimes it was a mass that was in a different language, so I just have to take my cues from everyone else about like when you're supposed to laugh and stuff. That is pretty good. But just the homily was the part where, sometimes it's a stretch. And some priests are just better public speakers than others. Some of them are more comfortable speaking in front of everybody, and they could put together a better story and all that. And it's really the entertaining part is the homily. That is what follows the gospel. And I used to just set my mental clock to, all right, once I know we get to the Our Father, we're in the home stretch. We just got to do the peace be with you, the Our Father, communion, and we're out of here. Like, I know, once you get there, boom, 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 everything starts going quickly. You know, my favorite masses are the ones before Easter. They're supposed to be more solemn, so you're not supposed to sing as much, right? But that's the best way. When you don't have to sing every part of the Mass, it goes so much faster. Like, I love the idea of 45-minute Mass. It's my favorite. By the way, and then when you get to that whole peace be with you, Our Father, communion, you're out of here. It's like you're almost out of here. You know, you come back after you get the Eucharist, you kneel, you pray, and then everybody's done. The music stops. All right, I'll rise. All right, please sit for some brief announcements. I'm like, oh, man, now you're keeping us here for announcements. Can't we just read it on a flyer if we want to read it? The extra few minutes. Just say thanks. Oh, wait, no, we got to bless the children. All right, bless you. Okay, there we go. It's those last little things. All right. Oh, sorry. Got some other ones on here on the other channel. Father Ray is cool. Golfers love Father James. Oh, you know who else? Father Polly James got a hole in one. Did you see that video? I won't show it. I did get it sent to me. But Polly James, while golfing, got a hole in one. He didn't win a car. It wasn't in a big tournament. He was just golfing with his group and got a hole in one. But what he said was the best. He's like, holy. You know what I'm saying. I couldn't believe. I loved it. I loved it. Good morning, Pilling. Thanks for watching. But that was one of my favorite things. So Polly James. All right. So I gotta put you up at top. Polly James. You're there. You're that guy for me. Oh man, Polly James is the guy. And again, it's not taken away from any other priest. And it's cool because when you go to a bunch of different churches and you try them out and see who the priest is and everything, yeah. But I'd say Polly James is the guy. Do you think they have maybe they do. Maybe it's just like every other social organization or every other like school group or whatever, or maybe even every sports team. Like, do you have like starters? Like if you're the bishop and you have to choose who goes where and everything, do you have like your fantasy team for your priests? Do you have like your top, and do they have their own cool kid cliques for the priests? I'm guessing no, because they're not supposed to. Human nature though, right? I imagine. The secret life of priests being cool, you know, like watching them play like basketball out there on the court, you know, you just see Polly James. I think Polly James is their starter. You pick the sport. I think he's the guy. He is. He's the cool guy. He's the cool priest. Yeah, I always thought, yeah, he is the cool priest. And you know, you hear about like judging books by the cover and everything. I wasn't sure if I was going to like him the first time. The first time I saw him at Mass, I almost made a judgment based on the sneakers I saw kicking out underneath his flowing robes. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, I guess I'm making a judgment on shoes. And then I listened to him, and he's just terrific. Really, just great. All right, I wasn't going to make it such a big church segment here, but I will ask this. All right, since you guys are still hanging in there, you haven't left. What's your take? Controversial. What's your take on wearing shorts as a guy to church? There's two. There's a part two to that. What is your take on wearing shorts and slippers to church? Like, I know there's no way I ever would have been able to wear shorts going to church growing up with my parents. There's no way. And people just don't wear, I know they're called slippers here, but like they call them flip-flops back home. We didn't have cool things like Scots. We had the not good ones, you know, the cheaper ones, like the little plastic flappy things or whatever. So we never had good ones. So we didn't wear them anyway because they weren't comfortable for us. And it was never even that hot. So we were like sneakers people at the very least. But like, what's your take on it? Yeah, I like that. No discrimination. All are welcome. I'm with you. I see it, Tobot. I have converted myself into the church of wearing shorts. And I was emboldened to do that when I saw some of my friends in church wearing shorts. I'm like, oh man, Mike's wearing shorts. Billy's wearing shorts. I'm like, oh, I can wear shorts if they can do it. Yeah, Arlene, that's a good take. God didn't say you can't go to church with shorts and Zoris. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, but when I saw my friends wearing shorts in church, I'm like, well, first of all, good on them for going to church. And if they're going to church, I should be going too. And then they're wearing the shorts. I'm like, all right, I'm wearing the shorts. Then I took it to the next level and started rocking Zoris. Oh, it's so much better. It's so much better. And hey, Jesus wore sandals. If Jesus can wear sandals, I can wear slippers. That's my defense. He had a better beard. He had a lot more followers than the NMI News Service. Yeah, but if Jesus is wearing sandals, then I think it's okay. But I do remember seeing the signs that said, hey, you can't wear this. I know that you have to dress a special way to go like Vatican City. Hey, good morning, Joe. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good to see you. All right, so cargo pants are fine. Slippers is the lifestyle, just not short shorts. Oh, don't worry. I won't be rocking any short shorts when I go to church. No problem, Marcia. No problem at all. You don't have to worry about that. I'm going to have to pray for forgiveness if I start rocking those anyway. All right, well, so that was the take. So basically, we were really talking about Bishop Ryan Jimenez moving on up. He's the new Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Agana, and that means he's going to move on up. This just came out over the weekend. He is moving up and moving on to the big island of Guam. There's going to be an installation mass for him next month on August 15th. Hey, it's my brother's birthday. And we're going to, we'll be cheering him on for sure. All right. It says, Tenepeg Church, you'll see the old people going to receive communion barefoot. All right. And Tobot says, don't hate on me, but our religion is changing and making rules like a restaurant. No hate for me, brother. Hey, it was great seeing you out there. By the way, Tobot was one of the guys who was out there watching his son practice for the baseball camp put on by Benji Palacios. And that was great stuff. It really was. And gave another opportunity to hang out with you. I think we opened our can of our beverage a little too late in the program. We'll have to get started on that quicker this week. So let's do that. Yep. That is great stuff. All right. So congratulations, Bishop Jimenez, who is going to be brought in to Guam as the new Archbishop for the Archdiocese of Agana. All right, so let's talk about this arch stuff. Does it mean, here, I want to Google this. Because, because you always hear, like, he's the most important is what the arch stands for. That's what the world of Google is telling me. But it's like, you got your arch enemy, your archbishop. What does it mean? Like, no, it's the most important. It's from the Greek word archos, meaning most important. Well, now we know. There we go. You learned something new today. You could tell everybody, I learned something new from the interwebs. All right. Okay, let's get into this. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. All right. Luisa Says, Leilani is so polite, Brad. She goes, excuse me, what time is it? She is. You see her on good days too, but hopefully both of my kids are like that all the time. The key is getting them to be like that to each other. So we win and we lose on that, depending on an hourly basis. All right, they do love each other. We'll move on. All right, so Liberation Day Chair Committee, and man, this, I can totally relate to this story a little bit. I don't know if you saw this, but the chair and the vice chair of the Liberation Committee, they resigned afterwards. Now, first of all, there's nothing for them to do, really, afterwards. I mean, there's an accounting process that goes by afterwards, but like a wrap-up. So, like, we just had the parade just wrapped up, and then they had all the ticket sales and all the stuff. All that stuff wraps up. Now, I didn't run the Liberation Committee ever, but I did organize the parade twice. And I could tell you that is a lot of work, just the parade aspect. And that didn't mean I didn't have to handle any money or any budgeting or anything. And I did it as a total volunteer. And I got asked by one of my classmates, Joe Azuzu Jr., and by classmates, that doesn't mean like we were in high school and college together. No way. I got a few years on him. But we were in the Pacific Century Fellows, the class of 2016. I got to know him a little bit. And then he reached out to me and said, brother, I need some help. Can you help me with the parade? I said, Joe, I'm here for you. I have never in my life organized a parade. I don't know the first thing about it, but I'll help you. But I could use some help. Like maybe, give me a little breakdown of how it's supposed to go and what's worked before, what hasn't worked, and we'll try to figure it out. So I ended up doing it. And, oh, man, I think we made a few advances that really helped out. And some of the things that we tried are still in place today, which was great. Like, that's my little legacy to the parade. Like, I don't know if you tried going down the road that was closed off when all the traffic was blocked off, but they had all the signs with the numbers on the side of the road. That's my little legacy thing where I made everybody line up on the northbound lane. I put all the signs on the southbound lane so that you'd be across the street and your signs would never be blocked. So it'd be easy to find. And that was mainly because one of the big headaches was people jockeying back and forth for their positioning in the orders for all the floats and all the participants. I remember being in it with IT&E and then with the veterans, and I'm like, boy, that was the most frustrating thing. I'm like, let's just line up. And then people were all over the place on both sides of the road. It seems like a big cluster, so I'm like, let's just nip this in the butt right now. Boom. So that's still there, so that was cool. Outside of that, though, all the entrance, like what I would have loved to have done is put a real hard stop on when people can sign up and like, hey, if you haven't applied already a week before you're out. Nope. That's not how it works. When you're the mayor, you don't want to tell people no. So they always find a way to squeeze people in. The only thing we were able to do was put a cap on for the floats. And you'd still be able to register as a float. You just wouldn't be able to get in as a qualified to win the prize, right? And that was to get everybody in. Because it used to take hours and hours just to set everybody up. We got everybody set up in 45 minutes. And then there was just a lot of waiting. I'm like, holy crap, I didn't think it was going to work out that well. It really did. So put forth all that stuff. And you work so hard to make all that stuff work. And again, all volunteer stuff for me. Like I didn't have a government job that let me, like that was part of my duties and all that stuff. So it's not like I was getting paid to do it. And it was great, but it was a great deal of work. Going from nothing to all that. It's all done, and then you still end up getting some complaints about it. I remember I had someone who was a sitting representative just in my face at the start of the parade because he lined up a little bit too close to the start so that he didn't get to see his brother as the parade grand marshal on his convertible because they went back too far when they signed up. Like, look, we told everybody where it starts. You moved too far back. He's like, well, who would do that? Well, I'm like, I just took it. I didn't say anything. And I was just excited that we had just started it. We just said go, bam. And people started going. And that's when he started giving me the business. I was so upset. I'm like, oh, and he was in my precinct too. I'm like, I never voted for this guy for anything. I don't care what he runs for. Just based on him giving me an earful for nothing, which is really just his bad planning. And I understand his disappointment. He really wants to see his brother as the Grand Marshal. He was way too close to where the staging area was. So he missed it, you know. Anyway, and that's another story of how much you can impact somebody with the words that you use and how years later I've still not recovered. It's true. It's true. It really bothered me. In fact, his daughter came up right after he was done, gave me some water and just gave me one of those sympathetic looks. She's like, she didn't say this, but she's like, I get this too. Like, so it was great that she came over and did that. I was just trying to be respectful and, listen to my elders here. And I was really burnt by that. Second year, it was even good to have that same setup, but because I allotted people 2 hours to line up, this time I'm like, all right, we're going to cut it down to 1 hour again, so that people didn't have to stay out there for an extra hour for the staging. Got it done in just under 45 minutes. Again, that program worked. Started it. It was great. Great floats, great participants, great engagement. I felt like $1 million. We had great communication with the mayor's staff, with the police, with everybody. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Everything went great. Whole thing's done. Fireworks are going off, at the end. We made our announcement for the winners. And one group showed up too late, so they couldn't win. And so they were upset. They're like, hey, they came back to me afterwards like, you said we won. I'm like, you would have, but you were late. And so that was, everybody knew that. No, but you announced it. And I'm like, yeah, I did, but I'm sorry. It was my mistake. I mean, you guys were late and somebody called and we verified it. And yeah, you were late. So you couldn't win it. Well, it's your cross to bear. I'm like, hey, my cross to bear is this meeting, man. I feel awful. I really respect you guys over there at that place. And I can't do it for you. You guys got late and that's it. Well, other people didn't do okay. It's too late. That's it. Had the mayor come in, all that stuff. Then that was like the next couple of days. But during the fireworks, I had somebody call me who was also a volunteer. Oh, somebody who was getting paid to do stuff for the race. Called me up after sending me some crappy messages like, this parade is terrible. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, your flyover came over too soon. I'm like, I said it was coming over at this time, like 2:30. And we ended up doing it in the afternoons, which, by the way, I like the mornings a lot better, but we ended up doing it in the afternoons. That wasn't my call exactly. But, and just took all of the excitement, all of the, enthusiasm I had for the whole thing, just took the wind right out of the sails. Like, you understand, like, I was not a paid advisor for this stuff. I had my friends ask me to help organize a parade that I have never done. We ended up having 2 massive parades, like 2 of the biggest they ever had. And we got them organized as fast as they had ever gotten, like with the lineup and everything. And we pulled it off and no one got hurt and it was great and the community had a great time. That's a success for me, but like, what do you want me to do? I mean, like, I've never, like, I did not go to the mayor's office and say, please, it's always been my dream. No. Anyway, all of that is just to give you a little bit of context to the story that's in the paper today, that the Liberation chair and vice chair resigned the day after. It's got to be for those kind of, I mean, I would imagine, it's got to be because of that. Because it wipes you out. You pour everything into this for months to organize this kind of stuff. Now, if that's your actual paid job and stuff like that, I mean, that's it. But maybe it seems like they might have, if they resigned on July 5th, like that's the next day. I imagine they still have, if they're the chair of the whole liberation, I bet they still got a lot of work to do. I mean, you got to finish all the accounting stuff for that stuff, making sure everything goes to the right place. I'm only giving you a little piece of the parade. I mean, imagine all the bands, all the entertainment, all the vendors, the venue, the grandstand setup and breakdown, organizing all the VIPs and getting everybody there. Like, it's so crazy the amount of work that has to be done. And everybody's got their own committees, and they all report to the chair. But that's work that still needs to be done. They still got meetings this week. So it would be really terrible to lose your chair and your vice chair like the day after the parade. Like, there's more to go. I wouldn't doubt that their reason for doing it just like that, because we met them during the parade. They came by, they stopped at our tent and shared some words, with us. And I wouldn't doubt that somebody gave them a little bit of a hard time too. It's tough. I was so disappointed. By the way, that person who gave me those text messages afterwards, it was a bit later, not like in the next day or two, but I had my opportunity to, like they say for one of the Festivus, I got the airing of grievances. I was able to have this conversation with this guy. I'm like, I couldn't believe that you did this. You got paid to be a part of this whole thing. And you just floored me, like at the end, like with your message that I didn't think was fair at all. You thought the flyover came a little bit too early. Okay. Okay, that's why you're upset? That's why. Well, it was during the blessing. All right. Sorry. Well, what can I do? We said it was going to be coming down the street between 2 and 2:30. And that's the whole reason why you're going to, say something about it. Like, well, you got paid, dude. I did this as a volunteer. It's not an excuse for doing bad. We didn't do bad on this thing. So, but we had the conversation, and so he knew how I felt, and it was a good conversation. It wasn't bad. Like, it was one of those, like, dude, I really think highly of you, and then you just crush me out of nowhere. It happens. So I wonder if that's what's going on with these guys. They did, of course, they were all smiles going through on the parade and everything, but it seems really sudden if they resign the next day. Like, I bet somebody gave them some crap. Now, the other thing is, though, I didn't read their resignation letter, but they said that, according to the story, it said in their letter, Pua and Borja stated that the Liberation Day Committee should consist of individuals from an outside entity who should serve as an advisor to the Saipan mayor in formulating policies on restricting mayor's office of Saipan employees from handling vendor fees and other financial related matters. I don't know. Maybe something happened. And maybe they got some bad takes on it. It says, it's been an incredible learning experience, and we're honored to have been part of the nonprofit organization that's by the way, the Liberation Day Committee is a nonprofit organization. I said that they have complete confidence that the new committee members may be able to revive and amend the Liberation Day Committee bylaws to ensure that it's unrestrained from having an employee from the mayor's office serving without any conflict of interest occurring. Not sure. I'll tell you what, when we did it, there's no way we could have done it without all the support from the mayor's office. We got a ton of support from the mayor's office. Like, for people who registered their floats and stuff like that, I never had to deal with $1 of going anywhere. That was all people at the mayor's office, taking all the applications and everyone. Luis Villagomez was just the best. She's with the lieutenant governor now because she was with him when he was the mayor. And the mayor is smart for bringing her with him because she's just an all-star. And she was absolutely incredible. She did all the real grunt work. Yeah, I went out there and helped put the signs in with the guys from the mayor's office. But they really did most of actually putting in the signs. I mean, I walked out with the spray paint, marked the road, like, okay, here's where all these spots are going to be. Then went out there another day and walked with those guys to install all those signs. But she's the one who got all those signs made. She's the one who coordinated all the staff from the mayor's office to do all that kind of stuff. So you got to have the mayor's office. Not just you got to have, but for the parade and for the Liberation Day, you absolutely 100% need to have the mayor's office there. You can't do it without him. Because I couldn't have put in all the time to get all those signs made and all that other stuff. I mean, I was already putting in a ton of hours for doing this stuff. So, anyway, I hope that to Delbert and Edmund, I really hope that you guys didn't get turned off from the Liberation Day committee stuff because somebody gave you a hard time. Because I thought the parade was great. You guys somehow even got the road made. Like, as frustrating as it is, or has been, with this whole beach road traffic, with all the construction and road improvements, drainage, all that stuff, that's going to eventually be over. And of course, I did not love that the road work kind of seemingly took a break in the south end so you could finish the parade stuff on time. But you got it done. It got done in time, and we had a great parade. We had a ton of people out there. It was terrific. And the parade grounds were great. The Liberation grounds were great. It was awesome. Tobot says, got to make like a banana and split, have a medical appointment, got to find out which construction company off island won the bid for my spinal surgery. All right. Hey, good luck to you, Tobot. Wishing you all the best with that. Jesse says, hey, enjoyed the coverage. I watched after the live, which was great because it was in the comfort of our own home. You guys did well, you and LJ. Thank you. Man, I'll tell you what, Jess, doing that with LJ is terrific. I really love doing that. And, we talked about it. I remember going back to when we were doing the last election for governor. LJ and I were doing the runoff election coverage at the multipurpose. And it was just in one of our side conversations where he was saying, what I'd really love to do? I'd really love to do that parade coverage someday. That's one of the things I'd always wanted to do. And I think that's what planted the seed with us to wanting to do it. So last year was the first year that we did the parade. Our connection online wasn't as great. We didn't have we didn't communicate directly with IT&E to line that up. Somebody else was coordinating that for us, and we didn't get the right fix for our communications stuff. So then on that morning, when we were having terrible connections, we reached out to Paul. Paul left his group, drove down with new equipment for us, and got us some good stuff. But he said, look, there's a better solution to this. That's the best that he could do for me during, just in the moments before the parade, left his family group and everything to help us out. He's like, there's a better solution for this. And if we're going to do this next year, here's a great idea. Let's tap in to somewhere where we can get that fiber connection. And that's what we did. So we went to the JP Center right in front of the Saipan Tribune. And we didn't just set up our tent there. Reached out to Merle Tolentino, who's the director for the Tan Saloon Foundation. That's the charitable arm of Tan Holdings. She said, yeah, you can do that. So IT&E tapped into the fiber, not using their internet service or something, but the fiber goes there and then just made a connection for us. And then Merle also provided us with a power outlet. So we didn't even have to bring a generator or anything. Awesome. So we got a great tent space. We had power. We had the fastest connection. So we were able to do it. So that was our first time to do it over there. And it's just down the street from the Grandstand. I think that we could definitely do an even better job next time around. And I love it. I definitely want to go back and do it again. It was so much fun. So I think And by the way, if you guys have any ideas for improvements on it, please let me know. I don't feel any of that is negative at all. That's all positive stuff on how to do better job. Like there's a couple of different camera angles I'd like to have. You know, I think we started a little bit too late going out and talking to the people. So I think having a corded mic is difficult for something like that. So I think we're going to have to get a wireless mic to do that. And that's going to require some good battery life too. But I think we should go out with the wireless mic and try and grab people the whole time. And maybe that means adding another person to the team. You know, like we have a couple of commenters and then add someone else who's going to be the person that goes out there. And we could even switch spots, going out there and everything. But, what's great about that is that we had Jojo Alapuzzo and the Island Image and Motion group and the Marianas High School Productions all working together. Like they're doing all the switching gear. Like right here, like to give you an idea, here, I'll just switch the camera view real quick. So you can see like I've got everything going on right here, right? This whole thing here, that's all the whole show. So I'm doing that by myself. But then if we ended up doing this, again, we have JoJo working all that stuff. If he could end up getting like those other guys, like that, like right now, like when I'm going to talk about a story that's coming up or I'm going to put in some little sound effects or run the commercials or something like that, I run all that stuff. If, when I've got like JoJo and the team there, they end up doing all that kind of stuff for me, which is great. I mean, I tell you, it's great. You can just focus on it. Louisa, a wireless microphone next time. That is a great suggestion for sure. Jesse says, you had great free food from across the street, which was amazing hospitality showcase. Yes, oh my God, you're so right. That food was amazing. And that if that's not island hospitality, and they did, by the way, they didn't just bring a plate for LJ and I. They fed the entire crew that was over there. Awesome, right? I mean, that was just awesome. We didn't ask. They just brought that over. That was great island hospitality. That was wonderful. The coolest thing. Add that to the list of some of the coolest things in Saipan. So I know next year what we'll end up doing, we will, like I thought about all this stuff like afterwards too. We had a lot of stuff to do building up to the event and our regular stuff, but I'm like, oh, you know what? Just people who knows who we are would know why we were there and what we were doing. We need to have like a big old banner that says who we are on there so that people know it's the NMI news service there. That would have been great, like right in the front of the table or something like that. And the tent that we had was provided by IT&E, which was great too, because I want to showcase them for giving us all the high-speed connection that made it possible. But it would be great to have like a little banner that said, hey, this is it. And then to have that for the microphones that we take out as well to get people. So, it's a work in progress. It is absolutely a work in progress. We want to keep doing better for the community and keep doing these kind of things. So, I love doing the sports. I know we're starting to really get our reputation is building as far as like doing all the live stuff, right? Doing the live sports, doing the live coverage, doing the live shows. That's what sets us apart a little bit. And then we're just going to have to keep getting better. This summer, though, is going to be really cool because we're going to get an intern in here, part of the summer program with Department of Labor and with the Saipan Chamber of Commerce. What's really cool about that is that I asked Kim if you want to get us as a part of it, get somebody who has a real interest in like stuff like this, like the media part of it, the broadcast part of it, the graphics part of it, scheduling guests part of it. Like we could do that. First of all, that's a heck of a cool 5-week summer gig for somebody to be able to do something like that. And bring them in if they want to do the news, like if they want to cover the news part. Like we end up doing this, and now for news, it's Juan Aldan. Whoever it is, like that. I think that would be a really cool way to add something to the show. But the coolest summer job ever. Again, because it's not just going to be, it's traditionally been a free, like unpaid internship, but Department of Labor is paying for that this year. Awesome. So we're looking forward to that. And then the hope is that turns into a continuing position that continues getting paid. So we're working on that. I'm looking forward to that because right now it's kind of a one-man band when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's not a bad thing, but it's good. Here's a suggestion from Jesse. Maybe a podium for the participants of the parade to give feedback during the interview, set up the floats to come interview. Yes, that's a great idea. That is an excellent idea. Stop and talk. So, the other part of that is I should just go to those parade meetings to let them know when they meet with all the groups. Hey, when you come by, stop. Give us a couple minutes. That's it. That's what we need to do. It's funny because I normally go to all those things, and this year I would have gone as a representative from VFW. I was getting the invites for all the meetings, but what I ended up doing is asking to see if one of the other members could do it. And they did, and it was great. Because back at that time, this started months ago. When I was with Triple J before, I was doing all the planning stuff for like other events that we had going on, like that Bubble Color Run and then the MMAC and all that. So like that stuff I actually got paid to do and I had to do. Like that was a function of my everyday stuff. And I can tell you, organizing those events are massive. So I could not add an extra thing on my list. So I just reached out to one of the other guys at the Post, said, hey, can you guys go to these meetings? He said, sure. I won't have that going for me this year. I won't have to worry about that coming up. So it's a good idea for us if we're going to be a part of it like this again, just to be a part of that, just to let people know. But that stop and talk thing is going to be a thing. And I think that really means that we need to it would be great to get another person to join our team for it. So I love that idea with the podium. Hopefully, the microphone right there with somebody. And then we could even have headphones for them to pop on and say, hey, yeah, it's great to be here, like that. Because then you could actually hear each other when the performances are going on. It's hard. When those cars came by, you couldn't. We had a hard time hearing each other in the headphones. True story. Because our microphones were picking up that stuff too. Even when the performers were happening and having the drums going and the music, it was still difficult to hear each other. But it was still great. We definitely got a kick out of it. And I think all these little things are going to make us do better at it next year. And again, it's doing it in advance. So we loved it. We're glad that we got to do it. And we're definitely going to do it again because, we got so much positive feedback from people who really enjoyed the coverage too. So we know it's something that's valued, for the community. And while there's a lot of people who watched it here, it was the folks like out in the mainland and around the world with ties to here who ended up watching it. There's like 12,000 different views that we had for the coverage. It was pretty good for stuff in Saipan. By the way, we're going to be doing I think we're doing it live in December. We started talking with Cookie about the next fights that they're going to have at the Roundhouse in the Octagon. We're going to do the fight commentary, the blow by blow, all of that stuff, and doing it live. So no matter what, you're going to want to be there to watch that happen. But if you can't get there, maybe you can't get the ticket, I think our coverage is going to be freaking awesome. I'm so excited about it. It was hard for me not to announce it as it was happening. And I ended up doing it a little bit toward the end. And now, I don't think I could stop that. So we're going to see who could be my partner in crime on that one. Because that'll be something. I'm really looking forward to a real good combo for that. It'll be fun. It's so much fun covering those fights. The only thing is we're going to work out on how that's going to work because you got 3 judges on 3 sides, and the other one is the whatchamacallit. You got the scoring tape, the announcing, and then they got the medical spot. So we might have to be just off of it. But I think we already figured out how we could do it with not a ton of people as far as the crew would go for cameras. Like, we could almost set up static cameras, and I could do the announcing and do all the switching. Watch, boom, 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 right? I mean, I could do all that kind of stuff as it's happening. But if I had someone else there, it would be a little bit easier for sure. But we could do that with the all the fight stuff ahead of time, put all the graphics up and all that. I think it's going to be awesome. Really, I think it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be live and awesome at the same time. So anyway, we kind of went off for a little bit. Hey, I got more stuff to say for sure. So let me do something first. We were talking about the fights, but you don't just have to get, those guys get in pretty good shape, right? But you don't have to be registered to fight in order to want to get in pretty good shape, right? It's true. And one of the best places to go do it is at the newest gym in Saipan. It is down in Chalon-Canoa, right on Beach Road, right in front of the Aquarius Beach Tower. It is Laddie built 24-hour fitness. And they've got the latest equipment. It's a brand new place, and there's always more stuff coming. And you'll see more right here.
Is built. We lead by example, persistence of build. Be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a Lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence of build. Be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
It's a great day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. It probably is not great to be down 3-0.
I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Ocean.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who can handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it, and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, is just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there, and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E. Good morning, Marianas, and welcome back. It is 9:15 on this Monday. It is July 8th, and we are feeling great here in the NMI because it's a heck of a day. There's a lot going on today. In fact, we're going to be out and about today for live coverage over at the hospital. Why? Well, I'll tell you what, there's a news conference at 1 o'clock today because CUC, yeah, CUC, sure, CUC, but CHC is going to be receiving a multi-million-dollar grant that's going to help the entire community. What's it all about? Well, we're going to find out. Apparently, it's the announcement of a multi-million-dollar healthcare grant that's going to benefit the entire CNMI. I don't know what it's about, but I know that it's happening, and we are going to be there at 1 o'clock today at the big press conference. Are we going to go live? Do you want it? Sure, we could do that. We'll end up going live with it. That's the plan, Stan. We got the info from the Marketing and Community Relations Coordinator, Lee Tenorio. And we'll be there. Better be an MRI, says Ann. Rather have an MRI than an MRE. But I'm in. So we'll be there, and we'll get you guys the news as it comes. We'll get some interviews. We'll find out what's happening, because that's what we do on the Wearing Glasses NMI Nerd Service. I know. Hey, shouts out to Leigh Gosses from the Saipan Tribune, by the way. She was out there covering the baseball camp put on by Benji Palacios over the weekend, which was great. I didn't actually check the paper to see if it's in the sports section. Here, let me check right now if she got it in there. She's got other stuff going on, so maybe that's going to be coming out tomorrow. But she ended up giving him a good interview. She had a full day. I know she ended up doing the golf tournament for the Joten golf tournament that happened. Not to mention there's the massive badminton tournament that's happening here. But I know that's going to come out this week. Yeah, great interview there. Interviewed my daughter, too. I thought that was great. Got a nice photo and video of her interviewing my daughter. That was awesome. Just off in the distance. And I loved it. So these are going to be good memories for them, too. But the thing is today at 1 o'clock, we'll end up going live again over there by CHCC. And they announced this new multi-million-dollar healthcare grant. So it sounds like good things happening in the CNMI. Going to be for our local healthcare system. Not sure what it's going to be about, just the invitation. And so we will absolutely be there. And that's not too bad. We'll take it. All right, so what else is going on here? Oh, man. You heard about all those Chinese guys who were hopping on boats trying to make their way to Guam? And, yeah, that's not a new thing. And it's not a one-off thing. Apparently, it keeps happening. In fact, there were one of the boats that somebody was selling on our local Facebook CNMI sales things, you name it, buy, sell, swap, all that. Somebody bought that boat, and they were making it to Guam with like 13 people on it, and it's not a big boat. And they ran out of gas, like 13 miles away, and they had to get help from the Coast Guard to say, we will be happy to help you, and then get you back to where you belong, or where you came from. Well, anyway, there's a guy who was indicted here for trying to transport people, and they caught him over there in Guam. He's one of them. So he got indicted in local courts. In fact, he was indicted, the U.S. government's represented by someone who used to live here, Benjamin Petersburg. He was a goalkeeper for our soccer team for a while. And the guy's name is Wenliang Ma, or Ma Wenliang. And anyway, he pled not guilty. He's got a trial coming up in September, and they got all his co-defendants, were all the people who were in there. I could give you that alphabet soup, but we'll just go past it because I don't know that you're going to know all these guys. But anyway, that's a federal court thing, and they'll be serving over here. Hey, we were talking about the Liberation Day and how much work that the mayor's office puts in and everything like that. Well, they continue to do more things. The mayor's office wasn't just doing the Liberation Day parade and stuff, but they were doing all kinds of stuff, starting with the 80th, the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Saipan. Massive undertaking that they ended up doing. And they continue to do it, and they recently had another event out here, and they had the folks from Quintai, USA, and those are the folks from Japan who go out looking for the remains of Japanese soldiers on battlefields all around the Pacific. And there's a counterparts for that in the U.S. as well that does that for U.S. soldiers. Well, anyway, they ended up having a memorial service for them up north, and it was another one of those events that the governor was involved in, the mayor's office had a big part of, and great job all the way around. Yeah, the Quintai guys, we hear about them all the time. I mean, they're going out there sifting through all kinds of stuff, looking at these places where the battles took place. They've got a whole bunch of maps that they consult based on things they got from the War Department in Japan. And wow, it's really amazing when you see like some of those old Japanese maps from Saipan, and how you see like where they had troops stationed and where they had their observation points, and where it's really awesome. That little bit of history is outstanding, especially if you're like a history buff like that. Well, speaking of history, IPI is just about history. Smooth, right? Now, apparently, they want to sell what the unfinished hotel. They had all their stuff sold without them, but now they're trying to sell the building itself, not just all the equipment and alcohol that they had. Wait, what happened? Somebody took the alcohol? Yeah, that whole story. Well, now they're trying to sell it to another investor. And I guess we'll find out how that's going to work. I don't know that they're going to be able to sell it. I've heard the same things that you guys have about the condition of that building. All I can say is that I really hope someone does build it, or buy it and finish it and turn it into something. Really. And again, which one would you rather have? Would you rather have that building, which is newer and unfinished, or would you rather have the Hyatt right now? Well, that's a tough one. So the Hyatt's closed, by the way. If you didn't know, June 30th was the last day. They still have folks working there. But they're really like the accounting team and the senior executive team, really just to wrap everything up with a nice bow, working with public lands. Because they're going to end up transferring all that stuff back to public lands. They're doing all the accounting stuff, all the inventory stuff, all the furniture, you name it. They're going to do all that. And that's a little scary because you don't want Hyatt turning into Marianas Resort. Right? So that's happening. However, there is a faint glimmer of hope, because there is somebody who's interested in the Hyatt. Not sure if, and I say the Hyatt, I mean that building, the former Hyatt. There's someone who's interested in it, and there is a conversation that started. I don't know how deep into that conversation it is. I don't know the name. I can't give you the name, but there is a conversation that's being made right now, because apparently, the owners of the building really don't want to stop doing it. But they're waiting on this other investor to buy it. So there's a glimmer of hope. So you're saying there's a chance. Apparently there's a chance. And I got this, this is good info that I got yesterday from a great source yesterday. Not just some hopeful person. This is like from a real dollars and cents kind of person, and who's directly involved with these things. And so hopefully this works out. I know that there's going to be a massive hill decline with regards to public lands, because they have all kinds of provisions that say how you have to go through doing all this stuff. But hopefully they can pull this off. We don't have this glaring, unfinished, or crumbling building in Garapan, like in our core area. We already got the unfinished IPI, but like getting Hyatt back open and revamped would be pretty nice. By the way, we were having a conversation yesterday with a bunch of folks about Garapan itself. Not all of Garapan, but we call it that Western Garapan area. Basically, it's like everything on Beach Road going west. Because it does objectively look like crap. Sorry, it does. It looks like crap. A lot of that's, of course, due to the construction and the big unfinished building. But if you were coming here on vacation and you want to hang out and walk, just stroll around Garapan and visit the shops and all that stuff, there's no shops. There's nothing to look at. It's a bunch of closed businesses and massagey girls. That's it. And that's it. That's literally it. The restaurant's closing down there. What really would make that place awesome is like a thriving little market area. So one, I think you got to bring street market back there. You got to make Garapan area something to see, something to do. You got to bring that back. You have to bring the street market back to Garapan, to Western Garapan. You can't do it you got to close off the street and make it awesome. Give the guests something to do. And very close by. That's got to be it. There's no maybe on that. You guys pull the plug on whatever else you got planned. Once that construction is done, the road work and everything, you need to set those tents up in the middle of the road one night a week and make that the big street market, because that stuff is cool. That's something you go to places to go and do. There's a big conversation yesterday about this amongst a group of friends. And it was great to hear different takes from different folks in different walks of life and what they think is a good idea for it. One of the things that made the most sense was we need to not try to be Waikiki. We need to figure out who we are, establish our identity and run with it. Now, I've never been to Palau, but they had said that Palau's got that figured out. They knew who they are, they knew what they got, and they do it well. Well, you know what? We need to be that way. Figure out who we got. You're right. We're not the high-end shopping place. We're not Waikiki. We're not Tumon. And we shouldn't try to be. We absolutely should focus on who we are and promote that. We're not the high-end shopping destination. Sorry, DFS. You guys can be. Definitely get that for folks. But that's not where our core business is ever going to be. We're never going to be that high-end shopping destination. We're never going to look like Tumon. We're never going to look like Waikiki. It's not saying we shouldn't keep trying to look cool and fancy in that area, right? But we should have a real good sense of who we are. Garapan core should be like what one of the people said yesterday, like a nice seaside village. That should be a place where people walk through the streets and it's nice shops. Not the most fanciest, everythingist, but like all the little coffee shops, Saipan stuff, small little retailers, little restaurants, quaint little village stuff. That's what Garapan should be for us. Yeah, you have hotels down there. That's absolutely, that's included. But like that wax museum, that defunct wax museum, right? All right. I never really thought that was a good idea. But that was just me. That's my thought. And if it worked out, then hey, great job. But it shouldn't be allowed to just be dilapidated down there. Right now, there's no way that that's safe. That place needs to be inspected. And if it's deemed to be unstable, then condemned, demolish it and bill the property owner. That's it. Bill the property owner if they can't do it themselves. That thing, I saw parking spaces out in front of that building where they have those big, real heavy-weighted eaves. I'm like, those things look like they're going to fall. And then I came by later, not the same day, but a couple weeks later, and they did fall. Lucky that nobody was there in one of those spots. It didn't land on someone's car. It didn't land on a person. That place needs to be condemned and demolished and then bill the landowner. And if the landowner can't afford it, then they lose the land and it goes back to public lands. I'm 100%. That's how that Garapan area should be. If you're not doing anything with it, it should all go back to public lands. Oh, it's terrible. I know. It is. It's terrible. I don't like the idea of taking land away from people. I think that's awful. But at least exchange it with a parcel of land somewhere else. Because that area down there needs to be our highlight. Marpi needs to be taken care of. Those places out there. Managaha needs to be taken care of and looking great. But that western Garapan core needs to be something. If they're doing all these sidewalks and all these projects, by the way, those roads are so freaking narrow. I love the idea that they're doing something and that they're going to have nice wide sidewalks and everything. That driving through there is going to be awful when everybody starts parking in. It's so narrow at like right at the intersections. Like, oh, it's going to be a lot of black curbs, I'll tell you that. The people are going to be hitting them with their tires. I'm sure it's going to be nicer when it's all done. When the grass grows in on those little spots and the flowers and the trees and the benches, it's all going to be nice. I know. But nobody's going to walk around if there's nowhere to walk to. Start exchanging land with those folks. Do a real value assessment and exchange it. Eminent domain, you need to. And people who aren't taking care of their buildings, you got to yank it. You got to yank it. There needs to be some legislation that comes in that says that if you're not taking care of your place, and that legislation could also be a big piece of the zoning, like the zoning board. There's all kinds of stuff for zoning. Focus on Garapan Core. That's the number one thing you need to focus on. You got to make us have something. You got to give us something cool. You got to have us have the ability to tell people what they could do when they come here. Go for a walk at night. Go see all the shops and all those nice little things. These nicely well-lit streets all over the place. You know, but you got to make them well-lit, and you got to make something there. Like that road in front of IPI, you got Cha, which is nice. You got the Ocean View restaurant right there. Okay, nice. Everything else on that road is crap until you get down to the far end, and you got that little place that has been like a bunch of different things. I forget what it's Mama Something's now. I forget what it's called. But it used to be Remington's way back when, like a million years ago. That should be a really nice road. And then all those side roads should be all nice stuff. Like it should, like, and if you can't make it like that down there, like, then you have to pay something. I don't know what the fees are. I don't know I don't have that part figured out yet. I'm not spending all day doing all that stuff yet either. But I can tell you that that's a key to our success, is developing that part of Garapan. That's it. What? That's just for the tourists. What about yeah. Tourists aren't coming here, man, unless they see that place look awesome. Well, I'm at PIC. You know, give them somewhere to go. That Garapan shopping area should be awesome. And you got to make the street market there again. That was a really cool activity. I've traveled around. I've gone to a lot of different countries, and all those cool countries that are in our area, the places that people are saying are our competitors, they have those kind of street markets, and they're awesome. Like Guam, even they have the Chamorro market on Wednesdays, I think. And they got a great place for it. We don't. Fishing base is okay, but no, you got to bring it back. Street market there's just something cool about doing the street market in the street, because it's an event, and you know it is an event because it's not something that you could do all the time. That's why it's special. That's what makes it kind of cool. Not some little dirt market that we have, which, again, it's what we got, and that's what we're giving people. Put it in the Garapan core area. Let them walk around the street. Done it in different countries, and it's so cool. It's definitely something that people would talk about, take pictures of, and enjoy it. And open it up so it's not just food vendors, all those little things, all the little, like, I'll tell you, across the street at the Shack, and they're closed today because it's a Monday, But across the street at the Shack, they sell some local products for people, and it's really cool. They don't. They have them available for sale, but like the individual artists and people who put the time in to make all those things, they actually sell them there. But like that's what that market should be. And on the street, as people are going by, it's going to put so much money into the economy. And it's an actual legitimate attraction for tourists, not a poorly lit night market on dirt that isn't great. Street market, bring it back. And we need businesses that aren't just, so we have ABC store, I Love Saipan, like 1 or 2 Japanese restaurants left, and massages. Like that's Garapan. That's it. Clean house in Garapan. That's literally it. It needs to be cleaned. It needs to look like something that you'd want to go do. That's all we're missing. You'd end up doing that, and that's a combination between that's work between public lands, zoning, and the legislature, and MVA can get involved in that too, because they could be part of the helping out zoning for enforcing. People who are actually upkeeping those properties up there. You have to rezone Western Garapan as like a special tourism district, and that's I think what the framework is for this whole thing. The creation of a designated tourism district. And when you have it, if your place is designated as a tourism district, in order for you to have to occupy that space, you have to improve it all the time. You have to maintain it all the time. Those vacant lots, overgrown, falling apart, dilapidated buildings, safety hazards. No, you cannot have those. Like, those need to be taken by public lands and only available to people who are going to develop that spot. And they have to commit to continuing to maintain it and improve it. That's how you fix Garapan. The way it's going right now, it's not going to work. It's just not. Just seeing your comments. All right. Let's do this. Oh, sorry. I got an email that I need to reply to. I just got a WhatsApp message. Oh, no. So I got to get back to them about some exciting stuff. Talk about NBA, speaking of which. All right. So we are going to wrap this up today. We ended up starting a little bit later today. Some of these other stories I'm not going to get to today. We'll just end up doing that tomorrow for sure. Yeah, Joe says we need to bring in experts to revive our tourism. 100% agree. So yes, I 100% agree with that. One of the hardest things is, like, there's this little dance that you end up doing. And that is, bringing people in and then hearing the pushback. Well, you don't think we can do it here? All right, look. We need to just not get so offended by bringing other people in sometimes. Granted, I know we want to have local people run all this stuff, and we absolutely should. But either we need to send our local folks out there to see how all these other things work, or we need to bring people in to have our local folks get that fresh perspective. And the hardest thing is, like, when you get these guys, these experts that come in, they get all like, ooh, I know everything. I know, that part sucks. So you got to kind of play with that. But also, we know that we're bringing them in to help us, right? And not just help us, but to help us learn about different ways to do stuff and a different perspective. It's because we're in a kind of a rut, it seems like, for a lot of our tourism stuff, where we're doing the same stuff over and over again. We're trying the same things over and over again, and it's getting us nowhere. We're just not doing it. And again, we talked about like the events that are put on that end up not being events because people are just checking the boxes. There's no vision to make it greater. They throw money in the wrong direction and they don't get results. They get people who get paid well to do stuff that falls way short of what our best interests are, and that stinks. Yeah, and I'm disappointed by it too. But I know there's a lot of well-intentioned people out there who just don't have that vision where they're at. They're real hard workers and they do a lot of good stuff, but they just don't see, like, they think that they're doing a great job. And they just need someone to say that, hey, you are putting in a lot of work, but this thing is way more successful if we go in a little different direction. We do some more stuff. Make those people who work really hard going in the right direction. Just steer them a little bit. They do great stuff. Like, they work super hard. Yeah, and Joe says that's where strong leadership comes in to push through local resistance. And, yeah, I get it. And it's just that first little bit, right? It's just that first little bit. Now, if you get the wrong people that come in from outside and they treat people like garbage, that's not going to work, right? So you need the real good fit. And when you do it, you got to make sure that you're not, like, literally disrespecting people when you're doing it, right? Because you don't have to come in and say, hey, look, I'm here because you guys can't do it. Ooh, those people come here. I'm telling you, they do. And they ruin it for everybody else. but that's where we're at. All right, guys. Hey, it's 9:42. We're going to wrap it up because I'm going to get ready for that live coverage that we're going to have later at CHCC, where they're going to be announcing some multi-million-dollar grant that's going to come here and help the CNMI. It's going to be today at 1 o'clock, so you'll be able to see it here at the Saipan News Service. I probably won't have the glasses, so I won't be the Saipan Nerd Service today, later today. But we'll be out there to hear everything that we've got. I guess I'll sign off, but I'll get you guys the latest sports update that we've got from the Associated Press. We already did the news earlier. They only do it once a day on their Sunday, which for us is our Monday. So tomorrow we'll have the regular updates on the hour every hour. All right, but the latest, I want to say thanks for tuning in today. We talked about a lot of stuff, and I really appreciate all your ideas that we had for the coverage and for the other stuff we were talking about. But for right now, let's send you away with the latest sports from the Associated Press. Call it a day, and we'll see you at 1 o'clock.
AP Sports, I'm Bruce Morton. Baseball, the best in the NL West versus the best in the NL Central when the Dodgers hosted the Brewers. Mark Myers reports from L.A.
The Dodgers got a pair of eighth-inning home runs to beat the Brewers 5-3. Miguel Vargas led off the inning with a pinch-hit homer that broke a 3-all tie, the ball just barely clearing the wall in left field.
I wasn't see very well where the ball was going, but so when I see the fans just yelling and screaming, so I thought, oh, it's a homer.
Shohei Ohtani added on with his 28th big fly of the season. Both Dodger dingers coming off reliever Brian Hudson. Will Smith got LA on the board in the first inning with a 2-run blast, his 4th in 2 games. Rhys Hoskins and Christian Yelich each homered for Milwaukee. Evan Phillips earned the win, and Alex Vesia got the save.
More top talent in Atlanta, where the Braves needed a win over NL East leader Philadelphia. Correspondent Jim Hart reports.
Marcell Ozuna and Ozzie Albies blasted 2-run homers, and rookie starter Spencer Schwellenbach delivered 6 strong innings. They led the Braves past the Phillies 5-1. Schwellenbach limited the NL East leading Phillies to 1 run on 7 hits. He struck out 6 while walking none, and Braves manager Brian Snitker liked what he saw from his young starter.
I'm glad we scored some runs for him. We hadn't scored many runs in his starts, and he's pitched well enough to have more than 2 wins, really. But, yeah, I thought that was really good.
NL ERA leader Ranger Suarez was bidding for his 11th win. The Braves greeted the Phillies starter with 3 runs in the first, highlighted by Ozuna's 2-run homer. That's all they needed as they tied the weekend series at 1-1.
Rounding out the Saturday National League action, the Mets beat the Pirates 5-2. The Nationals clipped the Cardinals 14-6. And in 10 innings, the Diamondbacks outlasted the Padres 7-5. In the American League, Minnesota thumped Houston 9-3. Twins manager Rocco Baldelli marveled at how his third baseman Jose Miranda tied a major league record with 12 consecutive hits.
We were able to put our hands together for him a little bit inside. I think the guys really enjoyed being able to celebrate quite the run. I mean, it's very special.
In the Bronx, they're raising a glass to Yankees first baseman Ben Rice. He became the first rookie in franchise history to hit 3 home runs in a game as New York routed the Red Sox 14-4. After the third homer, he said he was egged on by teammates to take a curtain call.
Honestly, it all was happening so fast. I think I was still, just coming off the high of hitting the home run. And I was just walking through the dugout, and then I just hear everyone kind of yelling at me to do something. I didn't even know what they were talking about. But then as they kind of slowly guided me towards the steps, I was like, oh, I'm doing a curtain call. That's pretty cool.
Oakland buried Baltimore 19-8. The Blue Jays got past the Mariners 5-4, and it was Rangers 4, Rays 3. Lots of interleague games on Saturday. The Guardians held off San Francisco 5-4. The Tigers beat the Reds 5-3. Angels over Cubs 7-0. In a game that somebody had to win, the Marlins beat the White Sox 4-3, and the Rockies beat the Royals 3-1. Back with baseball, tennis, and more after this. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark made history when she became the league's first rookie to log a triple-double as the Fever beat the Liberty 83-78.
Obviously, it's really cool. I mean, my teammates have been finishing the ball really, really at a high rate. Like, my assist numbers, that's because of them. Like, just finding them in positions to be successful, whether it's AB, whether it's Liz. Thought we've done a really good job of that. But yeah, I guess it's cool.
Caitlin's cool numbers included 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists. In Saturday's other game, Minnesota was better than Washington by a count of 74-67. Tennis, 14th seed American Ben Shelton advanced at Wimbledon. Correspondent Graham Agars has the story.
Shelton took 3 hours to post a hard-fought 5-set win over the Canadian Denis Shapovalov, and his reward is a 4th-round showdown with the top seed Jannik Sinner. 13th seed Taylor Fritz joined Shelton in the second week, as did Novak Djokovic. A major upset in the women's draw, top seed Iga Swiatek out in 3 to Yulia Putintseva. No mistake for American hope Daniela Collins, the 11th seed, into the second week in straight sets.
Golf, Davis Thompson is sizzling at 21 under par heading into the final round at the TPC Deer Run in Illinois. However, there are other sizzlers as Thompson leads the field by only 2 strokes. Soccer, at Euro 2024, the Netherlands moved through to the semifinals by coming from behind to defeat Turkey 2-1, and after a 1-1 tie, England advanced to the Final Four by topping Switzerland on penalty kicks. Bruce Morton, AP Sports.
All right, everybody, that's it for us over here at Good Morning Marianisville. We'll see you guys again tomorrow for Good Morning Marianas. It's 7 o'clock, not this 8 o'clock fun stuff. And we'll be back later today for live stuff on NMI News Service at 1 o'clock. That press release, press conference at CHC. Guys, take care. Have a great day.
Good morning, Mariana.